RingGangRadio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode.
Going off top all that shit up. I think what's the last shit we gotta talk about? Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, though, that's the last one, man. The last and final topic. Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley 2. And
Woodley got knocked the fuck out. I think we all called it. No surprise, right?
No, only you called it, motherfucker.
Huh?
I said no, only you called it. So take your swan song. Take your bow.
Your bow.
No, hold on, wait. Y'all thought, nah.
Yeah, we picked decision.
Y'all picked, because I'm like, y'all didn't pick Woodley now. What the fuck?
No. We
all y'all picked decision. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. I didn't even know. Like, I thought.
Yeah.
Damn. I can't believe y'all niggas get the fuck out of here, yo. Decision, like the fuck.
It almost did.
I mean, look at
like, y'all should have seen that. Y'all picked Take by knockout. I said Take decision. What happened? Take decision. Y'all picked Jake Paul by decision. I say nah, Jake by knockout. What happened? Like, go artists.
Well, I mean, technically, I got the last fight prediction right, but that's just me. But yeah, no, you got this one because you actually picked the knockout, but like P said, like it didn't look like it was gonna go like that because the fight was horrible. Like the actual fight, because it was just clinching and wrestling and low activity from Woodley as usual. I just never that whole mental block he has with not throwing, and then Jake Paul, like I said before, if he doesn't knock you out at the beginning, like Jake Paul is not that type of boxer to actually box like that because he gassed after like 3 or 4 rounds, so it was becoming a struggle to watch. Like these guys were just getting clinching, and it was horrible to watch.
And Jake Paul low-key kind of lulled them to sleep too.
To a degree, yeah, because one thing
Woodley got comfortable like with the tempo, but if somebody could always punch hard, which Jake Paul can, you gotta respect their ability for them to punch hard at every time. You can never just let your guard down or let your left hand slide down a little bit. Give them a window of opportunity.
Right, and that's the thing, because I know most people, like, there was so much engagement on my own Facebook about this, and I know most people were thinking that Woodley threw the damn fight. Woodley did not throw the fight. Like, there are better ways you can throw the fight than doing what he did, what happened.
In the fall forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody who thinks that is a moron. Stop it.
Yeah, no, what happened was basically that, Jake Paul gave him a little feint that he bit on, and dropped his left hand, and Jake Paul threw a right hand and caught him right in the temple. That's exactly what happened, yes, he did fall down cartoonish.
It wasn't a rabbit punch. It was a legit shot. It was a right hook, side of the head, boom.
Yeah, sweat flew off, soul flew out of his head. Dude did face first. Like, I mean, dude did. Now, if it was fake, I mean, he would think he would try to protect his face. No, dude went face first. With his feet sticking outward. Like, no, he was out of there. He was cold. He was out cold.
He did the Nate Robinson challenge.
Yeah, basically. This might be one of the rare cases where the fight was drizzling shits, but it also produced the KO of the year candidate. So
yeah, that's up there with what's that fucking dude? He had a fight of the year with Brewster. Not Ibrahimagov.
You talk about Lykovic?
Lykovic and Shannon Briggs.
Yeah. Horrible fight. Yeah, it was a god-awful fight, but the knockout, the fact that it ended in the way it did, yeah, it's memorable.
Yeah, that knockout was crazy. He put him through the ropes, right?
Yeah, or a better example, Randall Bailey and Mike Jones. Horrible fight.
That's another one. Horrible fight.
Yeah.
That uppercut, was it?
Yeah, uppercut took everything. Like it was a brutal knockout and an upset to boot.
Took that nigga whole career away.
Pretty much, and that was this fight. So
like
Jake Paul was probably 3 rounds away from really dimming his appeal, and this pretty much now probably resurrected everything that makes Jake Paul and this little run he's on, a thing, a money train.
I mean, Jake Paul playing the game the way he's supposed to.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people complain about this, but as we said before, when he became a thing, boxing did it to itself to allow someone like him in the game. Like, when you were fucking around, Jake Paul was bubbling on the underground, doing, having these fights with YouTubers and shit, and basically, it took the Zone and then Triller, that kind of jumped them off, and then Showtime, was a smart one to actually put him under a contract, and bam, you got what you got now. And then Jake Paul is able to reach down and be able to help fighters who never got the type of backing like Amanda Serrano, something like that. But yeah, Jake Paul has his good, but as a boxer, Jake Paul has to be able to knock his opponents out because his boxing ain't up to par. And I know people like to say, "Oh well, someone." He'll fight a real boxer. No, Jake Paul is not going to fight a boxer that can box him up.
He tried to. Remember, Tommy Fury was, he got out of the fight, and Tommy Fury was a favorite over Jake Paul. Mm-hmm. People forget that he was going to fight a real boxer. Woodley basically wanted a rematch back in the summer. He been wanted a rematch. So he always wanted this fight, but he got it on late notice, 2 weeks notice. But if you're a fighter and you're training all the time and you want a certain fight or you're after somebody, you would think you kind of be ready.
Yeah, you got. I think low key. I think they probably had the agreement where if Fury, Fury wasn't on point or whatever, he was probably training on a low. Anyway.
He probably got a little training stipend or whatever. Yeah,
and then like I said, and if he had to step in, he was probably gonna get like another $1 million or whatever his purse was, same as the first one, and it's good that Woodley got paid.
The numbers in this too.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see, But
it wasn't a good boxing card overall, name value, and you had competition,
Yeah,
although not the best competition, but you had competition.
Yeah, like the first fight on the card was what it was. I mean, it was a paint by the numbers fight. Like it was a close fight between young contenders, and it was a decent fight. And then you got Frank Gore and Tyron Williams doing their thing. It was a fuckery fight, and it was kind of weird that they actually scored a 4-round exhibition, but well, it's like whatever. I guess though. It provided the fuckery at least. There was plenty of that. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you're on the social media, you've probably seen the memes of Gore, looking like he takes a punch and he has this wide-eye expression on his face like he couldn't believe that Duran hit him. That type of shit. And then you had Amanda Serrano and Miriam Gutierrez. A fight that I thought would be one-sided. Ended up being a hard fight, a hard scrap. Poor Gutierrez, her nose was flattened, her eyes were almost swollen shut, but she didn't go down though. She did not go down. She gave it to Serrano too. I'm surprised Serrano, as far as Serrano got hit, I'm surprised her face wasn't even swollen herself. I think she ended up with like maybe a sore finger or some shit like that. She was talking about.
Hitting that broad so much, like
that fight was actually ended up being pretty entertaining. And like I said, that Jake Paul Woodley 2 shit was, like I said, it brought the energy down, but without that knockout, it would have just been on some bullshit. Like it would have been horrible. So, but at least like I said, Woodley got another payday, but Woodley should probably, I'd say Woodley should probably stop boxing, and he probably won't.
I wouldn't even call that boxing. You're just plotting with your hands up.
Yeah, because Woodley's base is wrestling. You know, Woodley is a wrestler that actually had a big right hand, and he fights like it too. Like, you know, he fights just to apply.
Paul's dead to get hit. Man. Like, and you can't. I mean, I feel like any of us could have just woke up and gave Jake Paul better rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so,
literally, like, and for less money, you'd have been like,
yeah,
100K, like 100K, like box Jake Paul, like, you know, we get you out here in Tampa real quick, send a private jet, and 2 tickets, you get 2 people come with you, your luggage, this, that.
exactly.
Niggas would have ate, like niggas would have took that.
I'm saying I would, you know.
Like, come on.
Yeah, but I know people like say, "Oh yeah, he needs to face a real boxer." Let me tell you something: the Jake Paul money train is gonna keep moving. They're not like, I mean, Tommy Fury isn't up, but if you want him to face like a top 20 fighter at either, whether it's cruiserweight, which we fought at, or 175, you got to be smoking rocks because Jake Paul knows, because like I said, 175 and cruiserweight are some of the most dangerous divisions in boxing. You know, like 175 has punchers. Cruiserweights have people that boil down from heavyweight, like that. You know, that still carry heavyweight power, or they go up or they come up from 175. And on top of that, too, it's not an American division. So you might
a guy who's a natural 160 guy. If he just throws punches and moves his hands, he'll give Jake Paul some problems.
Yeah, so you don't want to add in the fact that, you know, you get these type of dangerous fighters in there that can easily give him CTE with one brutal knockout. So yeah, no, yeah. If you think Showtime is gonna risk their investment so they can face a journeyman, an experienced journeyman, either division, you gotta be smoking rocks. Showtime's gonna keep this shit going until they feel that he could actually beat someone of that type of level, of that type of experience. But until
Paul gotta feel that way too,
or until they feel like his value is done and they're just gonna cash him out.
Exactly, you know,
and that cash out will be against a top name, not somebody who's not really known like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that nigga voice always come in like he barging into the studio door, like, and another thing, like.
And another thing.
But yeah, you know, the Jake Paul trade, like, I mean, like it or not, boxing, he's here to stay, you know. Yeah, and then also too, for people that think like, oh no, like, you know, he's beating up all our black fighters, blah blah blah, like this, like, it's not that cut and dry. People, you would think people would have learned from the Nate Robinson fight that you can't analyze a fight that way. You cannot do that.
He only beat up a black guy because a black guy stood up for the white guy he just beat up. So
yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, we just seen him beat up a white guy.
And on top of that, they're challenging him. He's not challenged. He didn't challenge. Yeah, like, you know, he didn't challenge.
It's almost like, and remember, this black guy got beat up again because a white guy stepped out the other way, like got injured.
He's not calling them out. The only MMA guys he's called out are Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, and Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, those are the two. And they were all
three.
If Nate Diaz got a fight with Jake Paul, Nate Diaz would be the fucking favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
And no one's gonna talk about this whole boxing. Nate Diaz don't have enough boxing experience. None of that.
Diaz sparred with Ward coming up all the time.
He definitely got the experience though.
Yeah, I think even Masvidal would be interesting, even though he said he's not doing it. He's like he's like, nah, I fight for money or fight the best, and you're neither.
Yeah, the funny thing is too, does Masvidal, because Masvidal right now he's still naming UFC, like his career is not on the downswing, even with the violent loss.
I mean, it's not only that. It's that, I mean, because Masvidal is acting like Jake Paul wouldn't be his biggest like fight, like money wise, but you know, he's got to act like he's not, like he doesn't bring any money, because he knows he knows what we all know. He's signed to UFC, and the UFC would never sign off on sending him to Showtime to fight Jake Paul. So he's got to act like there's not enough money in it, because he's not in control.
knowing damn well he'll get like $10 million for that fight.
Right, exactly. Like, another thing too is like, I mean, obviously Anderson Silva is still and he hasn't. I don't think he hasn't even called out Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva would also be the favorite against.
Remember, Logan Paul was calling out Anderson Silva. That was the fight that they was trying to make.
Yeah,
and Silva would beat that boy's senses.
Yeah, so I mean, Silva actually has a win over someone that you could say is a legitimate boxer, and he won pretty convincingly. So, I mean,
but Jake Paul ain't ready for Anderson Silva yet. Like,
no, he didn't.
Tommy Fury would be like moving backwards. Like, I feel like Tommy Fury gotta win another fight, or they gotta build that up again, put him on the same card or something. But I feel like him fighting Woodley and getting the KO, I think was probably the best thing to happen for him, because it ends the year on momentum.
Yeah. And he ended his year, and he needed that momentum. He needed to actually look good, because, like I said, you know, no one's gonna buy a pay-per-view of him going the distance if he's not beating up his opponents. If he can't KO him. Like, yeah,
we don't. I love the Sweet Science, but we don't buy pay-per-views to watch Jake Paul's Sweet Science.
Yeah.
Because that's sour. He can't even Sweet Science, man. That's sour science.
Yeah.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So, so it was good. But now I know that, obviously now I think Brandon Marshall's calling him out now, and Kendall Gill's calling him out now, and Le'Veon Bell's calling him out now. Like, because they're all thinking it's like, man, like, and of course these are like, they're all, football player and one former basketball player.
And NFL took a loss on that card with Darren Williams and Frank Gore, so we don't want to hear no more about football players trying.
So that's why some football players are all up in their feelings in social media about that. That's why they're like, he's not boxing nobody. I'm like, and if I think too,
usually like in the whole like the realm of like fighting in sports, like football players normally like are like higher up on the hierarchy of fights, like over basketball players. It'd always be like basketball players getting punked and shit.
Right.
Where football, it'd be like a big football nigga who done stayed back twice, punking the whole school and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like football players. In terms of athletes, football players are probably pound for pound some of the most strongest athletes in the world. Like, they're incredible
too. Like,
they're incredible
boxers, but
Yeah. But yeah,
like right up there with wrestlers and shit.
Yeah. But like I said, some football players, some pan out, they become competent boxers, some don't. So it's like. Yeah, Frank Gore. And funny things too is Frank Gore. When they were doing the training videos, Frank Gore looked more fluid than D. Will did. But D. Will was the one who was actually beating his ass most of the part. So
it's all how you damn put your skills together. You could look good at shadow boxing, and then you jump in the ring and do stuff beating your ass. Like, all that looking good at home don't mean shit.
Exactly.
It ain't a look good contest. It's a hurt sport. Hurt business.
It's the hurt business.
Yeah.
To be somebody's ass business, not the I look good in there. Right,
exactly. So yeah, I mean, Jake Paul. Obviously, the Jake Paul train will keep moving, and I know they said Jake Paul said that the train for Tommy Fury is probably passed, but we'll see about that. We will see if that's actually the case.
I mean, because somebody else got to appear as the guy that wins the fight that people want to see.
Diaz is probably. Diaz is probably because Diaz is not signed to UFC. I think he if I'm not mistaken.
I think Diaz would be an automatic bestseller. That'd be like a crazy big fight.
Yeah, the MMA cats will go. Speaking of that, the MMA fans were definitely in their feelings.
Is it realistic though? Like, is that a fight that could be made?
It can be made. I'm pretty sure it can.
Do you think Jake Paul even got a chance? Is it worth being made this soon though?
It's one thing. Is Jake Paul will probably outweigh the rest. I know. I mean, Jake Paul talks shit to everyone. Dude was talking big. He was talking big shit to everybody in that post-fight interview. Like, I mean, and he was in. You know, Diaz. I mean, it depends if he actually thinks he could beat Diaz or Showtime thinks he could beat Diaz. It's one or the other.
Who's the most beatable guy that you think would be a good fight for him? That if you was managing his career, you would say, you know what, Jake Paul fight this dude.
That's a good question.
We're not looking at Tyson Fury. Tommy Fury. We're looking at Tommy Fury like late next year, like 2022, November, December.
Right. But the thing with Tommy Fury, and also Tommy Fury can also improve. That's the one thing. Like, I mean,
that's why we now looking at him. So I'm talking about the next fight right now for Jake Paul, the best winnable fight that helps his career. That's a good fight. You know, if you're managing his career, like, what would it be?
Oh man, there's a Nate. See, I want to say Nate Diaz. I really do want to say Nate Diaz because Nate, he can box. He's a name. MMA, the MMA fan base, he has it. Boxing people know who he is.
What about Conor McGregor?
The weight, though, it's the. I mean. Because it'd have to be a cruiserweight. I mean, Conor McGregor isn't that heavy a guy. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, that'd be like it'd have to be someone that could fight at 190, like in the cruiserweight. In the cruiserweight range. I don't think Jake Paul's gonna go down any lower. I don't think Conor McGregor.
Nate Diaz would be the fight, but you know, he would be the favorite. Like,
oh, he absolutely would. But yeah, Conor McGregor, I just can't see it because the weight that
you'll hand him an L.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, like, if there was a way, unless they're both talking about catch weights and shit like that, then I'd say about
So there's nobody else. Okay, you can't get Nate Diaz. Nobody else.
Wait, hold up. What weight would it be at, like, what, they're 190s?
It'd be like 175. Somebody got to be at least 175.
Yeah, and
175 in MMA is considered super welterweight. So I'm trying to think who would be, like, maybe a middleweight, be a 185.
At least 175. They stand a chance. Like,
it's hard to say because it's not just MMA fighters too. Like, he's willing to fight other people in other sports. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. So we're looking at people like in different sports, different people, like names.
Like, I mean, like there's no football player like that has that type of hands that I think that can actually beat Jake Paul like that. Not even Brandon Marshall.
Chad Ochocinco?
Nope.
No, I think Chad would be too big. Wait, what did he actually fight at when he had that exhibition?
He was like at 190 or some shit.
No, Chad's bigger than that.
So he was like a heavyweight then.
Yeah, because that would be. I mean, I don't. There's no football player out there that I think that has the type of hands to actually give Jake Paul any type of.
So Jake Paul will knock out Chad Johnson.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, very, 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 very possible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Chad. There'll be some upset. That would definitely get some attention because Chad definitely has.
It get attention, right? It'd be like, you know.
Yeah, it'll be pay-per-view, all that. It'll get a whole bunch of attention. You know, God forbid Jake Paul slumps Chad Ochocinco.
So whoever executive is, you know, will be stealing our shit. Go ahead, we give you another one. It's the season.
Yeah, But yeah, someone like I said, anyone with any type of hands, like Kendall Gill will probably give him a good fight, but they probably keep him a hell away. I mean, Kendall Gill will also have to.
The name that's buzzing, like his name ain't out there. Like,
yeah, that's also true. Yeah, it's only for certain. I mean, if you grew up watching Kendall Gill on the basketball court, then yeah, you'll that's one.
A guy like Scottie Pippen name is buzzing. It's a bigger name than Kendall Gill. Like,
yeah, that's also true.
You get if you say like, okay, well, I'm gonna fight Scottie Pippen, niggas will actually like turn around and be like, hold on, you said what?
Yeah.
But if you talking about, man, I'm gonna fight Kendall Gill, niggas will be like, yeah, this nigga's talking about you gonna fight Kendall Gill.
Yeah, that's also true. That's very true. I mean, whoever is facing next, obviously, will just be, it'll definitely also probably be someone that's really calling them out or challenging, and basically it's like, okay, yeah, I'll fight you. If not Tommy Fury,
get that springtime pay-per-view money with Chad Ocho, with Chad Johnson,
or Diaz, maybe if you want to really,
he need to win. Begin the year you ended the last year with a KO. Begin the next year with a KO.
Word.
He could beat Chad Johnson to make that fight next. Then I would later try to go for Nick Diaz or somebody, get some momentum.
Right.
Or maybe Tommy Fury again.
And that'll be his 2022. Well, actually, because I'm pretty sure he's getting stitches in his head. So we'll see how long he's gonna have to actually be out.
Yeah.
Since he did take an elbow to the head. But yeah, it's like I said, it was an interesting week of boxing. It was probably like I said, the last big weekend of notable fights for 2021. It's
but fights matter. Like when people had a chance to lose type shit.
Yeah, and 2021 was like I said, it had its ebbs and flows, but at least it ended. 2021 at least ended for boxing on a high note. Compared to the summertime where it was just like, things Murphy's Law, when things can go wrong, they do. So it made a nice comeback. And unfortunately, like I said,